So tonight, I chose to experiment with one of my favorite hero journeys, and it's called The Wizard of Oz. And it was written by Frank Baum and was part of a 14-book series. It then became a widely acclaimed movie in 1939 and was called The Wizard of Oz. It featured Judy Garland as Dorothy, and she lived in Kansas. Later, in 1974, The Wiz was written by William Ferdinand Brown, and it featured Diana Ross as Dorothy and the Broadway play Stephanie Mills as Dorothy, and they came from or lived in Harlem, USA. So, what do we mean by a hero journey? The term hero journey refers to a narrative pattern or structure that's commonly found in myths, legends, and storytelling. It was first introduced by the scholar Joseph Campbell in his book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces. The journey often involves a hero leaving their ordinary world, encountering mentors or allies, battling enemies or obstacles, experiencing a crisis or ordeals, undergoing transformation, and ultimately returning with newfound wisdom or gifts to benefit their community or world. See, that's when you know it's a hero's journey, because once you get to where you need to go, you can give back. Wow, powerful. So, I did some research. I had to do some research because in my head, I had all of the answers, and I had to kind of like really get it to a place where I had to concise it and say, okay. So I looked at the metaphysical perspective of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. That's it. And that's it. And so that's what we're going to talk about and listen to and get inspired from. And then also what I'd love for you to do is identify with her. You know, I don't care if you're a man or woman, how do I relate to the character of Dorothy? So let's look at Dorothy from a metaphysical perspective. And I love this part. I'm going to do the commercial break. So I said, I have the Emerald City jacket color on. Jimmy, how do you like it? And he's looking at me like, huh? Jimmy is from Nigeria, and Nigeria doesn't have the Wizard of Oz, okay? So this is definitely a learning experience for Jimmy. So Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz can be seen as a symbol of the human soul on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. Her journey from where she lived to the magical land of Oz represents the soul's journey from the ordinary and mundane to the realm of higher consciousness. Dorothy didn't want to really depend on her 5 senses in order to enjoy life. She wasn't enjoying her life just using her 5 senses. She wanted to explore her 6th sense. And she probably didn't realize that's what she wanted to do, but it is that the universe hears us even when we don't speak it. The universe knows exactly what we need. So at the same time, and so she wants to explore this 6th sense, but she also wants to return home. And it's all throughout the story. I want to go home. I want to go home. And she longs for a sense of belonging. That's what home is all about. The desire to return home reflects the longing for a sense of belonging and a connection to her true self. Not the one who's in fear, not the one who's in pride, the one who is her true self. And we here know that the true self is the true self of love and divine order. So that's what she was looking for. And I know, I'm going to take a commercial break. I know that sometimes I forget who the true self is, and I get distracted, But I love the fact that I have tools in my life today. You know, I was listening to the detox lesson the other day, and how you can just take that pause and say, well, this is not right. I got to come back in. Dorothy didn't have that yet, but we do. And so when she longed for this sense of belonging and connection to her true self, she asked the question, there's no place like home. I want to come home. And this also can be interpreted as the human quest for self-realization and finding one's purpose in life. Yeah. Finding my purpose in life. What is my purpose in life? Now, the yellow brick road. The yellow brick road which Dorothy follows to reach the Emerald City and find the wizard can be seen as the spiritual path or the journey towards enlightenment. The challenges she encounters along the way, such as the Wicked Witch of the West and the flying monkeys, represent the obstacles, old shattered beliefs, and negative self-talk that one must overcome in order to grow and evolve spiritually. So Dorothy had to learn how to change her thinking. She had to learn how to see the God in her. Because when we go to the next line about the people that she attracted in her life as she was going down this yellow brick road, it was truly a mirror of what she was. So Dorothy is requested to kind of do some spiritual muscle building. Now, Dorothy's companions on her journey, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, can be seen as representations of different aspects of her own psyche. Each of those characters desired something they believed they lacked. Wow. Scarecrow, he didn't have a brain. He lacked intelligence. Tin Man, he didn't have love or feelings. He didn't have a heart. And courage, the poor Cowardly Lion, didn't have courage. But the bottom line is that these symbols were the various qualities and virtues that the soul needs to develop and integrate in our lives. These treasures, and I love that, Dorothy didn't want a Mercedes-Benz. Dorothy didn't want a fine man. Dorothy wanted these non-material possessions because those are the qualities and potentials that gets her what she wants on a physical plane. And in the end, Dorothy discovers that the wizard is just an ordinary man behind the curtain, suggesting that the answers and power she sought were within herself all along. Wow. So the discovery of oneself represents the realization that true wisdom, love, and courage come from within, and that the external world is merely a reflection of one's inner state. So Dorothy's journey in The Wizard of Oz serves as a metaphor for all of us, that the spiritual journey of self-discovery, whether you're 16 years old or 89 years old, self-discovery is always happening. And when we do that self-discovery, we want to ask ourselves, what do I need to let go so that I can grow? And the growth comes. And then we say, what new beliefs and actions do I get to learn and practice? And then the realization of one's true potential. And you know, I love quoting Dr. Gray with this one. The realization of one's true potential, I am the whole bit. I am the whole bit. And so it is. So there were other things that came out of this research that I did, that these comments and ideas that I wrote down, and one of them was that there was no human power that could give Dorothy divine power. She had to realize she already had it in her working for her and through her. So she had this power in her. And even through her questionable mind and her lack of confidence, that power still was in her. She had to find it. That also reminds me of the caterpillar cocoon story, where the guy sees this butterfly really struggling to get out of the cocoon, and he helps the butterfly out, and then eventually the butterfly can't fly because he hasn't strengthened his wings. So with that, I thought, because I was like, why didn't Glenda just give her home, take her home? She's the good witch. Why didn't you just send her home? You know, that would be easy. But that's not what her quest was. Dorothy didn't even know that she wanted to find the God in her. She thought the God was in the whiz. And then there's another saying that I kind of paraphrase that I've heard from biblical phrase, and I took it as, the one power in me is greater than the one power in the world. Isn't that wonderful? The one power in me is greater than the one power in the world. And therefore, God is in me, and I don't have to look out in the world to find God. And then when I do look out into the world to find God, I see me, because I see the God in you. It's the faces of God. So the last one is, the external world is merely a reflection of one's inner state. And that resonated with me because it's asking me to pay attention. You know, and I'm listening to this detox lesson Dr. Gray gave Sunday. And how many times am I not paying attention? But in a spiritual realm, and as we practice our spiritual lives, we would want to get to pay attention to the most important person in our lives, us, and ask ourselves, how am I thinking today? What am I thinking? Do I see peace in situations, or am I disappointed because of my expectations? Someone didn't do what I wanted them to do, and I thought they would do it. Of course, they need to read my mind at the same time. Is the world dictating my worthiness or lack of? Is forgiveness still not in the realms of possibility? And those are the things I say or ask myself, and then I paraphrase, then I say, I'm just asking, no judgment, because I literally do a lot of this work. I really speak in the mirror a lot. It's one of my friends. So just let's take a break and ask you the question, what resonates with you in this hero's journey? And how, if at all, do you relate to Dorothy? Let's start writing that in the chat, and then I'll ask Christina to start with her own perspective.
Okay, all right, we got the question, it's in the chat, and I guess I'll start and say what resonates for me with this hero journey is transformation, resilience, soul searching, you know, and seeking answers outside. And when the answer was inside the whole time, you know, that's kind of what that resonates with me. But also having a lot of wonderful help and loving support along the way. Don't forget Toto, all right? He was there the whole time. And then, you know, and I relate to Dorothy in that way, is that I'm always seeking answers, you know? Sometimes I'm looking in the wrong places, but I got to look in those places until I'm guided to other areas.
Thank you, and thank you for mentioning Toto. She, you know, he was he was the road dog, for real, for real. And whenever she felt insecure and in fear, Toto always was by her side. And thank you for mentioning Toto. Thank you.
You are welcome. We do have some answers in the chat. Would you like to?
I'd love to hear them, yes.
Hey, wonderful. All right. So, wow, we got a lot of, okay, so we have here going through a journey of self-discovery to realize how special I am. Another response is understanding the power within. Another response is realization that it all comes from within. There is no smoke and mirrors, believing in self-actualization and manifestation. Another response, having wonderful friends to go on adventures with, spiritual and other adventures. Another response, wondering what's next. And also, someone mentioned the Emerald City and going home. Notice that back home, Dorothy's aunt was named Auntie M. Wow. Yes. And then also the hero's journey is, hold on. Oops, I lost my place here. Okay. Dorothy did not know the power is within. And then finally, we had the final response is believing in my intuition.
Nice. Thank you so much, and thank you for everyone who shared their comments. So we're going to write some questions in the chat that you can ponder on and answer in the chat. Any question you would like to answer, but it's a group of questions we're going to ask you to consider writing an answer to. So what are the patterns were you ready and willing to let go of? What new patterns do you want to welcome into your life? Are there any challenges? What type of exercises can you do to develop your spiritual muscles? What are some affirmations you might be able to use? And that's it. Those are the questions. So any question, one question, two questions you want to comment on in the chat, we would love to hear from you. And of course, there are some people who can't respond in the chat at this point, but make sure you remember these questions because we have the afterglow where you might want to share some of the answers. Christina, how we doing?
Good. The questions are in the chat. And I hear the brain juices flowing, and I feel like we're going to be getting some responses really soon here. And I'll start off with one. I'll share an affirmation. I forgive myself for not being perfect. So that's an affirmation. It's been helping me a lot.
Were there any challenges in closing any of those doors? Christina?
Oh, that was directed at me. Absolutely. Yes. There's some grief to be had. And I don't let go of many things without scratch marks on them, but maybe less scratch marks, right?
Yeah.
We got some good responses coming in now. First one is, I am ready to let go of inconsistency. Another response, I want to welcome into my life more love and acceptance of my health and well-being and stop being critical.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Got one more?
Okay.
The pattern of negative thinking is what I would like to let go of. Thinking on a higher level is a pattern that I see happening to me. I got three more. Is it okay? Yeah. One of the affirmations that I use is everything always works out for me. Another response, be in the now, change thoughts to affirm another way of being. Challenge, being okay with the waves of life. Exercise the new response. I am well, able, and aware. Another response, I want to let go of fears. And final response, let go of need to control everything.
Let go of the need to control. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we all have the power to do so. And so it is. I listened to a YouTube, Joe Dispenza. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but they were talking about he was talking about repeating words. And repeating words can be good depending on what words you're repeating, you know. But just like with Dorothy, she was not repeating the type of words when she entered Oz. She was not repeating the type of words that supported her growth. At the end, of course, she knew who she was. And I always say that around affirmations because I know, I don't believe, I know it's the beginning of learning a new language for yourself. And I also know that as, I don't know, maybe I'm going to talk about me. I was so accustomed to an instant coffee way of life. So if I said one affirmation, it's supposed to work. What's wrong with me? What's wrong? You know, this doesn't work. But it's a process. And the fact that I'm saying affirmation is the little miracle that says I'm doing something differently. So I am a promoter for affirmations. I am a promoter for mirror work. I forgot, and I asked a young lady I spoke to today, I said, because she called me and my answering machine says something like, did you look in the mirror today and say you loved yourself, or something like that? And she said, oh, I was going to tell you how wonderful your record. And then I said, well, did you look in the mirror and say you love yourself? She said, no. I said, well, just do it now. Do it right now. I'm listening, right? And she said it was so hard to do. I was like her, but I forgot I was like her. So I really promote the mirror work. I really promote the affirmations because it is a practice. And when you practice more, it's easier to practice more, you know? So I just wanted to do that, just share that about affirmations. And I just want to remind us all that as students of truth, we know our thoughts and beliefs hold immense power. The treasure of our minds can be discovered through introspection and reflection. It's important to question our beliefs. It's important to examine our biases. And it's important to expand our spiritual horizons. That's what I love about being here. I mean, and Zoom is perfect. I come in person. But the fact that I see so many faces of God on Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it's like phenomenal. And I love the fact that I get to know how you guys think and feel at the same time, because it helps me with my spirituality. I'm able to uncover new perspectives. We're able to put on new thinking caps. I like that one too. And I like the fact that he wore I get these good. That's what the Emerald City jacket is all about. I said, if he's going to put a thinking cap on, I'm going to put an Emerald City jacket on. And we're going to challenge these ingrained patterns of thinking and follow the yellow brick road to unlock creative potential and new adventures in our lives. Now, the last piece of this lesson is a request from our audience last month. They loved the affirmation baths. They said, we love the affirmation bath. So Christine and I are going to give you an affirmation bath. And again, I just want you to close your eyes, relax, allow Christine and I's voices to channel the loving words on the higher power's behalf. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I no longer choose to believe in old limitations and lack. I now choose to begin to see myself as the universe sees me. And Christine, I'm going to change the word to you.
Okay.
You are perfect, whole, and complete.
You are divinely cared for.
You have everything you need.
Your life supports you in every possible way.
You are in the process of making positive changes in all areas of your life.
You are eager to shine and grow.
The universe loves you.
Everything you need comes to you at the perfect time.
You love and you approve of yourself.
You are a unique and beautiful soul.
You feel glorious dynamic energy.
You are courageous.
You choose zeal and get the most out of life.
You are active and alive.
You are all that you need to know you have all that you need to know at any given moment, and it is revealed to you.
Your intuition is always on your side.
You are intelligent.
You are lovable.
When you share your love, it comes back to you multiplied.
Every experience you have ever had has shaped you into the person you are today. And that is exactly who you are supposed to be right at this very moment.
You look forward to new doors opening.
You are an uplifter.
You feel the grace of God expressed through you.
Goodness and beauty follow you. Goodness and beauty follow you.
Peace and joy accompany you.
You are Holy Spirit.
Your inner mind is divine and complete.
You forgive and release the past.
You live in eternal now, and there is no uncertainty about your future, no fear as a result of your past.
You are an expression of higher power.
You are divinely made.
There's no place like home.
There is no place like home. I love being me.
You live in eternal now.
I am perfect, whole, and complete. I am worthy.
You are in perfect time and space.
I have everything I need. Life supports me in every possible way.
God loves you no matter what.
I love and approve of myself.
You are the spirit of confidence.
I feel glorious dynamic energy.
There is no place like home.
There is no place like home.
There is no place like home.
And so it is.